Good afternoon and welcome, everyone. My name is Adam Levine, and I am the Executive Director here at the New York Metropolitan Transportation Council, or NYMTC. As the Downstate Region's Metropolitan Planning Organization, NYMTC provides a collaborative planning forum to address transportation-related issues and develop regional plans through our members' shared vision for the transportation network that connects New York City, Long Island, and the Lower Hudson Valley. Thank you all for participating in today's Brown Bag. Please note that this webinar is eligible for one certification maintenance credit from the American Planning Association. You will find more information about this in the chat. Today we will hear from Mary Byrne, who is an Associate Transportation Analyst and part of the leadership team here at NYMTC. Since joining NYMTC in 2017, Mary has been the Staff Director for the Nassau-Suffolk Transportation Coordinating Committee, one of three regional subcommittees responsible for ensuring local transportation needs are both coordinated among our Long Island member agencies and consistent with federal requirements. Mary is active with NYMTC's Safety Advisory Working Group and is the project manager for the Safety Needs and Technologies Assessment for Suburban Counties study. Prior to joining NYMTC, Mary spent her previous career as a licensed professional engineer with New York State DOT in the Design Bureau of the Long Island region. Mary will present on the Safety Needs and Technologies Assessment for Suburban Counties study. The study combines existing transportation safety research with feedback from stakeholder outreach and assesses safety in NYMTC's suburban areas, namely Nassau, Suffolk, Westchester, Rockland, and Putnam counties. It also identifies specific findings and recommended action items to address these needs. There will be an opportunity for questions following the presentation, so please type your questions into the WebEx chat box, and we will address them during the question and answer portion towards the end of today's presentation. I also ask that you let us know via the chat who you are and where you are joining us from. This helps us learn more about our audience and plan for future events. Finally, before I hand the microphone to Mary, I'll ask you to please stay tuned for our next Brown Bag on June 10th, which will feature New York City DOT's Freight Microhubs pilot. More information about that June Brown Bag will be announced soon. Thank you again for joining us today, and I will now turn it over to Mary for her presentation. Mary?
Thank you, Adam. I'm going to share my screen now. Please bear with me. Okay. I hope you can all see my screen. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for the introduction and for having me here today to talk about NYMTC's Safety Needs and Technologies Assessment for the Suburban Counties study. This study is modeled after New York City's Vision Zero initiative, and it aligns with the goals set forth in NYMTC's Moving Forward Regional Transportation Plan. As New York City has its Vision Zero initiative, we set out to study safety in the suburban counties in NYMTC's planning area, which include Putnam, Rockland, and Westchester counties in the Lower Hudson Valley, and Nassau and Suffolk counties on Long Island. While considering this study, we looked at crash safety over a 10-year period from 2009 to 2019. And it was noted that the total number of traffic crashes has been increasing continuously in almost all of our suburban counties. This affirmed our need for the study. This study is significant because it focuses on coordination between jurisdictions to improve safety and security outcomes without the need for entirely new programs. This NYMTC study is funded through the Unified Planning Work Program, or UPWP. The work was performed for the New York Metropolitan Transportation Council under a term agreement held by the New York State Department of Transportation on behalf of NYMTC that provided for the Rutgers Region 2 University Transportation Center to conduct contract research projects. This task assignment was performed by Rowan University with MBO Engineering. I would like to acknowledge the study team shown here. To achieve our research objective, the study was organized into 6 distinct tasks. The first 3 tasks are shown here. Task 1, develop study organization and materials. Task 2, develop study outreach program. Task 3, literature review and benchmarking research. As part of Task 1, the team outlined a detailed study plan that encompassed the entire assessment process. This plan defined the methodologies to be employed during the study, ensuring alignment with the Vision Zero planning process used in New York City. The plan also stated the desired outcomes for the study. As part of Task 1, the study team gathered necessary data and assembled the Study Steering Committee and the Technical Advisory Committee. The Study Steering Committee was composed of the members of NYMTC's Safety Advisory Working Group. The SOG was a great fit to act as steering committee. SOG was created by NYMTC to facilitate interagency discussion, exchange information, address safety, and advise its members on safety issues dealing with transportation safety. The Technical Advisory Committee was composed of technical experts culled from the suburban counties and from New York City DOT. Many of them worked in the areas of traffic safety, pedestrian safety, and planning. Their role was to provide feedback on the safety assessment template. The remaining study tasks are shown here, namely Task 4, develop a safety assessment template, Task 5, undertake a safety assessment of the suburban subareas, and Task 6, support the development of a safety program for the suburban subareas. We will cover what was learned during each component of the study as we progress through the presentation. First, I will say a few words about the study goals. Establishing clear goals for the research plan was essential for successfully launching the study. Equally important was gathering study materials or data needed to progress the study through the various tasks. Some of the needed data included traffic crash data. For the study, we used New York State DOT's CLEAR system, traffic volumes, including AADT, ped and bicycle counts, implemented safety countermeasures considering different modes of transportation, socioeconomic profile of the study area, ITS-based safety countermeasures, transit-related data, and geospatial data. Additionally, work completed by one of NYMTC's 9/11 Memorial Scholars was provided to the study team. The work was entitled Best Practices to Coordinate, Communicate, and Enhance Equitable Traffic Safety Programs in the Suburban Counties of the NYMTC planning area. As part of Task 2, the study team created a tailored outreach program to reach a variety of stakeholders. This task included preparing the materials needed for the study surveys and interviews. For the agency survey, introductory emails were sent out to the contact list, which were then followed by the survey. In total, 54 surveys were sent, which yielded a response rate of 52% and a completion rate of 54%. A total of 15 completed responses were received. This slide gives an indication of the questions used. A large portion of the survey responses collected were from public agency officials with more than 10 years of experience and with some experience with safety assessment development. A review of responses from the agency survey indicate that policy measures could be implemented to address safety issues identified through the survey results. Some of these policy measures which could be implemented included gaining community input on setting local road speed limits, establishing communications protocols for vehicle to everything and photo enforcement. The survey results also provided the basis for recommendations to improve transportation safety through emerging technologies, including use of artificial intelligence, retrofitting cars with pedestrian detection, and including detection system verification into annual car inspections. Our study team conducted safety study outreach as part of Task 2 while at the TRB annual meeting in Washington, D.C. in January of 2024. The team discussed transportation safety challenges, needs, and potential safety initiatives with 10 other educational institutions and one private entity. Major findings from the team's outreach activities during TRB include identifying suburban safety challenges, such as difficult driving maneuvers, concerns due to animal crossings, pedestrian visibility issues, high speed limits, the presence of heavy vehicles or trucks, perceived unsafe bus stop design and locations, and for older drivers, low access to resources. Suburban safety needs identified at TRB include advanced intersection control, improved street lighting, traffic calming measures, rapid emergency response, and wildlife protection. Outreach efforts also identified conventional and emerging safety intervention and technologies, including speed cameras and radar feedback signs, smart street lighting, connected traffic signals and red light cameras, traffic calming measures such as implementing roundabouts and road design elements, including medians, refuge islands, wildlife crossings, dedicated turning lanes, protected bike lanes, and higher tree canopies. In addition, laws and policies on distracted and drunk driving, land use planning and zoning, child safety, and speeding were noted. Educational campaigns were identified as a safety intervention, while community engagement takeaways stressed stakeholder involvement and equity consideration. Task 3 included literature review and benchmarking research in 4 focus areas. The team conducted an in-depth literature review by investigating existing academic research, industry reports, and relevant publications related to transportation safety technologies. They also reviewed Vision Zero plans from 43 different states to identify safety challenges, safety initiatives, and their associated implementation actions. Available plans included different typologies such as urban, rural, and suburban, and reviews were focused on suburban-related items. The team assembled a list of 10 metropolitan planning organizations to perform benchmarking and regional comparisons between the study area and selected MPOs. The team also selected potential staff members from the 10 MPOs to be interviewed and sent invitations out to perform those interviews. The literature review of transportation safety technologies highlighted various technologies which are being deployed to enhance safety across different modes of transportation. These technologies offer promising solutions to address common causes of crashes, such as human error, inadequate infrastructure, and adverse weather conditions. An inventory of current and developing technologies that hold promise to improve transportation safety and security fall into 3 categories. They include vehicle safety technologies, which include autonomous vehicles, advanced driver assistance systems, and collision avoidance systems. Infrastructure safety technologies, which include smart traffic management systems, intelligent transportation systems, and roadway sensors and cameras, and safety communication technologies, which include vehicle-to-vehicle communication, vehicle-to-infrastructure communication, and emergency notification systems. Integrating these technologies into existing transportation systems requires careful consideration of factors such as infrastructure compatibility, regulatory requirements, and user acceptance. Items to consider to facilitate technology integration include technology pilot programs, automated vehicle integration policies, which can define specific areas or routes where automated vehicles can be tested or deployed, ensure these areas are coordinated across jurisdictions to ensure safety and control, integrate AVs with traffic management systems, and AV data sharing with local and regional transportation authorities. Also, connected infrastructure development to prioritize the installation of smart traffic signals that can communicate with connected vehicles, mandate the integration of V2I technology at critical intersections or along high traffic corridors, dedicate funding for smart infrastructure and cross-jurisdictional infrastructure coordination. Lastly, data privacy and security standards. A review of 43 Vision Zero plans identified safety initiatives falling into 6 categories. Those safety initiatives and their associated safety actions include pedestrian initiatives with safety actions, including outreach and training programs for people walking and biking, installing visible and raised crosswalks, identifying non-signalized marked crosswalks for additional lighting, pedestrian crossing beacons, and accessible pedestrian crossings. Bicycle safety initiatives with safety actions, including dedicated and protected bike lanes, bicycle safety education for communities, bicycle signals, hybrid left turn signals, buffer lane inclusion and street marking for bike lanes, safe road initiatives with safety actions, including dedicated left turn phases, leading pedestrian intervals at selected intersections, daylighting at intersections, area-wide no turn on red restrictions at high-risk intersections, streetlights at intersections, hardened center lines, retroreflective backplates, speed humps, and no right turns at specific locations. Speed management initiatives with safety actions, including 25-mile-per-hour speed limits inside cities, automated speed detection cameras, prioritizing traffic signal timing on high injury networks, implementing a car-free or slow zone and pop-up barriers for lane width reduction to control speed, and safe school zone initiatives with safety actions, including additional pavement markings and crossing guards at school zones, converting existing parking to drop-off pickup zones during school hours, and installing speed humps. And lastly, engagement initiatives with safety actions, including educating commuters through training and organized safety programs at a range of public events. The third component of the literature review focuses on benchmarking research of similar metropolitan regions, a strategic initiative to compare and contrast our study area with 10 similarly sized and structured metropolitan regions. The first 5 MPOs selected for this exercise are shown here, including their respective population and planning area. For comparison purposes, the population of the NYMTC planning area based on the 2020 census is approximately 13.2 million people. The NYMTC planning area covers 2,440 square miles. Here we see the 5 other MPOs which were included in this work. The last component of this benchmarking exercise was an in-depth interview with staff at the selected metropolitan planning organizations. These interviews focused on 6 topics, including safety challenges in suburban areas, methodologies and key metrics utilized in transportation safety, safety programs and initiatives, the integration of emerging technologies into transportation safety, challenges in implementing and incorporating technologies, and engaging with stakeholders and the public. Key takeaways and recommendations gathered from the interviews include: balance needs to be maintained between high-speed, high-volume roads and local roads. Focus on how people travel rather than how many vehicles travel on the road. Move beyond traditional benefit cost analysis toward implementing safety analysis to assess project impacts on roadway safety, including monetizing potential lives saved or lost. Emphasize pedestrian and cyclist-friendly design in suburban areas, including pedestrian cut-throughs and fully separated paths. Advocate for safer roadway design elements such as medians and road diets to improve safety for all users. Promote better access management in suburban shopping centers to enhance safety and traffic flow, and continue discussions with localities to identify feasible safety improvements. In addition to the noted items, the study team learned that alignment between different agencies, both at the local and state level, is essential for coordinating efforts and implementing cohesive safety measures. Ensuring alignment minimizes duplication of efforts and maximizes resources for effective safety improvements. Moving on to task 4, the team created a comprehensive safety assessment template, mirroring the methodology employed by New York City's Vision Zero. The template incorporates a variety of analytical and programmatic steps and includes data inventory and data visualization of the study area. Data elements included in the visualizations include socio-demographic data, economic data, transportation means, point of interest data, available built environment elements, transportation services data, and transportation safety data. As mentioned in task 1, data sources used for this work included online open data sources such as municipal websites and census data, and the New York State DOT's CLEAR platform for 2019 to 2023 crash data. Next, ongoing safety programs in the study area were cataloged. These programs include, in Nassau County, Walk Safe Nassau to educate pedestrians and drivers, photo enforcement red light camera programs, and enforcement measures to increase police training on pedestrian safety. In Suffolk County, the Town of Brookhaven Wildlife and Ecology Center Safety Town to educate children on traffic and pedestrian safety, teen driver safety programs, and a complete street resolution. In Putnam County, engineering solutions to increase pedestrian safety, education measures to educate students on the dangers of drunk driving, and a school bus safety program. In Rockland County, engineering solutions to enhance traffic safety, and in Westchester County, community outreach and education initiatives, and proactive engagement with vulnerable groups. Task 5 provided for the foundation of the coordinated safety program development, namely outreach to the 2 suburban transportation coordinating committees in the study area, the Mid-Hudson South Transportation Coordinating Committee and the Nassau-Suffolk Transportation Coordinating Committee. To gather the needed input from the TCCs, the study team developed a set of questions that could be used to guide discussions. These questions aim to capture feedback on existing safety programs, challenges to interjurisdictional coordination, and suggestions for improving safety outcomes and coordination between the jurisdictions. TCC members pointed out key challenges, including conflicting regulations between counties, political differences that hinder collaboration, and practical obstacles such as varying infrastructure needs and priorities across the suburban regions. This feedback provided invaluable insight into the complexities of the coordination in the study area, highlighting areas where the coordinated safety program could offer solutions. An additional note on the meetings with the TCCs, members' input was retrieved through a live poll during each of the respective TCC meetings. A total of 23 members provided responses during the meetings. The development of a coordinated safety program for the study area is a comprehensive process that draws on input from multiple stakeholders during the transportation coordinating committees, including the transportation coordinating committees. The TCC input from task 5, the analysis from the safety assessment of task 4, and the findings from literature reviews and interviews with other metropolitan transportation planning organizations from task 3 combine in task 6 to form the coordinated safety program. The coordinated safety program is designed to address safety issues identified in the study area, improve coordination between jurisdictions, and enhance existing safety programs to ensure alignment and responsiveness to the needs of the 5 suburban counties. In task 4, the study team cataloged the suburban members' existing safety programs. The purpose of that exercise was to evaluate how these programs addressed safety, addressed safety challenges identified through socioeconomic and crash analysis, and to highlight any gaps or areas for further enhancement. The detailed input the TCCs gathered in task 5 offered essential guidance in understanding the specific safety and coordination challenges across the study area. The insights gathered laid the groundwork for identifying opportunities to enhance coordination and align safety efforts across jurisdictions. From all these efforts, a coordinated safety program was developed. This program is divided into two key components: policies that support inter-jurisdictional coordination and specific actions that jurisdictions can implement to facilitate this collaboration. This graphic shows the policies that support inter-jurisdictional coordination, or the policy framework. The policy framework focuses on ensuring consistent standards and practices across jurisdictions, addressing gaps in communication, data sharing, and aligning goals around safety enforcement and infrastructure improvements. Policies such as shared data protocols, unified enforcement strategies, and collaborative public awareness campaigns are designed to remove barriers and streamline efforts across multiple jurisdictions. We will take a look at each of these policy framework components. Effective coordination hinges on the ability and accessibility of reliable transportation safety data. To ensure a consistent approach across jurisdictions, a standardized framework for data collection, integration, and sharing is critical. Components of this portion of the framework include standardized data formats and protocols for collecting and reporting transportation safety data, a centralized data repository where all jurisdictions can upload and access transportation safety data, mandatory data sharing agreements outlining the types of data to be shared, the frequency of sharing, and the responsibilities of each involved, real-time data integration for safety monitoring with policies that require the integration of real-time data such as traffic sensors, vehicle data, pedestrian counts, and data privacy and security policy to define how data is anonymized and safeguarded during the collection, sharing, and integration process. Consistency in traffic regulations and enforcement practices across jurisdictions is essential for ensuring safety and accountability. The policies which aim to harmonize regulations and standardize enforcement efforts region-wide include regional traffic law standardization policies that harmonize key traffic regulations such as speed limits, distracted driving laws, and pedestrian right-of-way rules across all jurisdictions. Uniform enforcement training and practices to standardize protocols for enforcing DUI laws, speeding violations, and pedestrian safety measures, ensuring consistent application of the law regardless of location. Joint enforcement operations to ensure a broader and more effective approach to enforcement in the region. And enforcement data reporting and coordination to enable a coordinated response to emerging safety issues, help identify high-risk areas, and ensure that enforcement strategies are data-driven and aligned across the region. Clear and consistent communication is vital for ensuring that public and stakeholders are well informed about regional safety initiatives and policies. Suggested policies which aim to enhance outreach and engagement include regional safety awareness campaigns to promote consistent messaging about road safety rules and initiatives, stakeholder engagement plans for consistent communication with stakeholders, including local governments, advocacy groups, and the public on safety programs and updates, multilingual safety outreach to ensure all communities are reached, and real-time traffic and safety updates like regional apps or websites for providing real-time updates on traffic conditions, road safety initiatives, and enforcement activities. Collaborating with federal agencies is essential to ensuring that regional safety initiatives align with national standards and take advantage of available funding opportunities. Policies that could strengthen these relationships include coordinated grant applications to encourage joint applications for federal and state safety grants to maximize funding for regional safety projects, alignment of safety standards, ensuring that state and regional safety initiatives align with federal safety standards such as crash reporting and vehicle standards, federal safety policy advocacy with a regional task force to advocate for federal policies that support local and regional safety priorities, and federal funding utilization tracking to ensure compliance with federal requirements and optimize resource allocation. Integrating emerging technologies into transportation safety efforts can significantly improve outcomes. Policies focusing on fostering the adoption of new technologies and coordinating efforts across jurisdictions which could be implemented include technology pilot programs for testing new transportation safety policies and to experiment with new solutions before scaling them region-wide, automated vehicle integration policies to define specific areas where automated vehicles can be tested or deployed to ensure technologies are introduced safely and in a controlled manner, connected infrastructure development, prioritizing the installation of smart traffic signals and other V2I technologies at critical intersections to enhance communication between vehicles and traffic management systems, and data privacy and security standards to protect sensitive information while maximizing the benefit of technological integration. Public education and awareness are key components of any successful safety initiative. The following policies which aim to promote safety education at the regional level include region-wide safety campaigns developed to focus on shared safety issues, school safety education programs aimed at children, parents, and school staff to raise awareness about the importance of road safety, particularly around school zones, and periodic safety education for drivers, such as refresher courses on new laws or safe driving techniques. In addition to the policies just discussed, the Coordinated Safety Program also outlines practical actions that aim to support the collaboration between jurisdictions. These actions include joint infrastructure projects, coordinated traffic calming measures, and shared resources for implementing smart traffic technology. By focusing on these collaborative efforts, the program enables jurisdictions to leverage each other's strengths and create a more integrated and efficient safety network. We will review the practical applications which are included in the Coordinated Safety Program. One of the most critical actions for improving collaboration is creating a centralized data sharing platform managed by the MPO. This platform will enable all jurisdictions to upload and access transportation safety data in real time, fostering transparency and better decision-making across the region. The platform will standardize data formats, ensuring consistency and making it easier for jurisdictions to analyze and compare safety data. Components proposed to be included in the platform include creating a centralized data repository that allows for the storage, retrieval, and analysis of transportation safety data across all jurisdictions, standardizing data collection protocols to ensure that all jurisdictions collect and report transportation safety data in a consistent manner, and facilitating data sharing agreements that outline the type, frequency, and security of the data to be shared among jurisdictions and agencies. Coordinated enforcement efforts across jurisdictions will strengthen traffic law enforcement and reduce safety risks in high priority areas. Joint enforcement operations will allow local law enforcement agencies to pool their resources and increase their presence in areas with high rates of traffic violations and crashes. Practical actions include coordinated joint enforcement actions between neighboring jurisdictions to tackle key safety issues such as speeding, distracted driving, and DUI enforcement. Standardize enforcement protocols for key traffic enforcement areas to ensure uniformity in enforcement, training, and reporting across all jurisdictions, and shared enforcement data regionally to track progress, identify trends, and adjust enforcement strategies as needed. A consistent unified message on road safety across the entire NYMTC region will increase public awareness and encourage safer behaviors among drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists. These campaigns will be designed to address the most pressing safety concerns identified in the suburban areas, such as pedestrian safety and speeding. Some region-wide public safety campaigns, which could be implemented, include multilingual safety campaigns to ensure all communities are reached and to target diverse groups within the suburban subareas. School-based safety education programs to educate students, parents, and staff on road safety with a focus on pedestrian safety in and around school zones. Promote real-time traffic safety updates using regional apps and websites to provide updates on road safety initiatives, traffic conditions, and enforcement activities, and coordinated safety messages on dynamic message signs to enhance safety campaign messaging and provide real-time updates to road users. Coordinating infrastructure improvements across jurisdictions is essential for ensuring that safety measures are implemented consistently and effectively. This action focuses on promoting collaboration on critical projects such as installing smart traffic signals and other connected infrastructure to reduce safety risks across the region. Some program actions to implement include coordinate cross-jurisdictional infrastructure planning to align priorities and coordinate infrastructure projects, particularly along shared corridors or intersections. Dedicate funding for smart infrastructure to install and maintain smart traffic signals, vehicle-to-infrastructure technology, and other connected infrastructure along high traffic corridors and intersections, and implement pilot programs for emerging technologies to test new transportation safety technologies and ensure that these technologies are integrated across jurisdictions. Effective communication is key to maintaining collaboration between jurisdictions and ensuring the success of the coordinated safety program. Establishing clear, regular communication channels will enable jurisdictions to share information, address challenges, and collaborate on solutions. Actions to strengthen interjurisdictional communication include setting up a regional communication task force consisting of representatives from each jurisdiction to oversee coordination, share updates, and resolve any challenges related to the safety program, hosting regular coordination meetings with local, regional, and state stakeholders to review the progress of safety initiatives, share best practices, and identify areas for improvement, and creating a shared digital communication platform where stakeholders can communicate in real time, share documents, and collaborate on regional safety initiatives. Access to adequate funding is critical for implementing safety measures. Encouraging jurisdictions to apply jointly for federal and state safety grants will maximize the chances of securing funding for regional safety projects. Actions to encourage this include coordinating joint grant applications for federal and state safety grants, ensuring that all jurisdictions benefit from the funding, tracking federal funding utilization, ensuring that funds are allocated efficiently and used in compliance with all regulations, and advocating for federal safety policies that support regional priorities, ensuring that the needs of suburban areas are reflected in national safety initiatives. The previous discussions identified that rather than starting new safety programs from scratch, this initiative should aim to enhance coordination between existing safety efforts within different jurisdictions. Our next steps involve meeting with the suburban TCCs to discuss policies and actions which could be deployed within the NYMTC area, possibly taking from one jurisdiction and sensibly deploying to another. Some of those steps we may discuss with the suburban TCCs include jointly securing funding for safety projects, infrastructure improvements, and enforcement initiatives, enhancing collaboration with property owners and external stakeholders to address right-of-way limitations and other barriers, providing access to data collection, integration, and analysis tools for informed decision-making and program evaluation, offering training for staff and law enforcement on uniform enforcement practices and the implementation of safety technologies, supplying technical expertise for the design and deployment of new safety technologies and infrastructure, and developing communication platforms to coordinate safety efforts and improve public and interjurisdictional communication. The safety program seeks to strengthen interjurisdictional collaboration by implementing policies and actions that align safety efforts across suburban sub-areas of NYMTC, with a focus on data integration, joint enforcement, public engagement, and the adoption of emerging technologies. The program aims to foster a safer and more unified transportation network in the region. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. That was great. It was so dense with so much information that I was knocked out listening to it, and I've seen the presentation a couple of times already. So I can imagine what our viewers are experiencing as well. And if just a reminder, if anybody has questions that they want to ask Mary or the NYMTC team, please drop them in the chat. Stephanie, I'm not seeing any unless I'm missing that.
No, there are no questions in the chat right now.
All right.
But there's a
Fantastic.
welcome. Some of the folks have been putting in where they're from, and thank you very much for that.
That is great. So I think people can keep doing that as well. I mean, I had a couple of thoughts that came to mind, and I'll just share them. So some of them may not be questions; they may just be observations. I was, I guess, curious. I will start with a question. I think, Mary, you mentioned that there's a recommendation for a centralized data repository, and I was wondering if you could think of any places that we observed were doing that well or had created something like that come to mind.
Well, during investigation, during the study, the team was looking for information. We did find out that State DOT and their safety bureau there, they do have some information and safety information, and maybe we could expand upon that and offer access to other municipalities so that we can share that information with everyone.
I think that would be great. I guess one of the jurisdictions that comes to mind is New York City, which I know for many years has had traffic stat in place, which is basically sitting all the precinct commanders down with the city DOT folks and going through, hotspot by hotspot to try and figure out ways to improve traffic safety and, keep people alive. So I just was curious, and I guess we can look into that a little bit more to see where around the country others are doing something similar. I think we did have something pop up in the chat just now before I continue on. I see a couple more. Stephanie?
Yes, we got some questions in. Was one, will the presentation be made available, and will NYMTC be publishing a report? I can answer the first part, that there will be a publication. The website will have, NYMTC website will have this presentation up online within 2 weeks. But the second part of whether NYMTC will be publishing a report, Mary, if you could answer that.
Sure. So we are still polishing up the report, I guess you could say, preparing the cover and making a few edits. And I believe once that is done, it will be posted to the NYMTC website.
There was also a follow-up question of when that would be, when it would be made available.
I'm hoping soon.
Thank you.
For the next brown bag.
Awesome. And then another question from a different person. Does NYMTC have any coordination with the Nassau County Shared Mobility Management Plan? It no longer appears to be active, but it has some similar interface areas.
Unless they participate in our SOG, I will say not at this time, but that's definitely a good suggestion and something that we can look into.
And those are the only questions as of yet on the chat.
Okay, I'll jump in again with a couple of observations. I liked the suggestion about, I've been looking at my notes, periodic safety education for drivers. It kind of, in a previous life, I was a traffic engineer with New York State DOT, and so I know that, you know, we have to take into consideration the 3 E's for traffic safety, engineering, education, enforcement, and I guess there's a 4th E now with emergency response. And education seems like an area where I guess folks, I don't know whether our study uncovered different practices state to state or MPO to MPO, but for the most part, once people pass their driver test, they're done. You know, they might want to take some classes to get reduction on their insurance, but other than that, there's no requirement to maintain any kind of awareness of traffic safety laws and changes in traffic safety. And I'm really eager for hopefully us to explore that one a little bit more. Anything you wanted to touch on with that, Mary?
In our report, we do have a section on education, and so I believe that there are several, you know, efforts there that are touched upon, educational efforts.
That'd be great. The other one I made a note of was the uniform enforcement training and protocols, which given the, you know, many different jurisdictions responsible for enforcement, does seem like it's something that would be hopefully helpful in improving traffic safety. I liked the way it was explained, intersection by intersection or hotspot by hotspot or however we need to do it. I think there were a couple other pop-ups in the chat. Stephanie, any questions? I wasn't
It
really.
was me. I actually just
Oh.
posted the APA CM credit link.
Okay, thank you. So another observation, I definitely see a potential role for us, NYMTC, in carrying this forward. So in bringing folks to the table and hopefully being able to make progress with several, if not many, of the recommendations in the study. So
Yes.
certainly folks should be. Go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, as I said during the presentation, at our next sets or subsequent TCC tech staff meetings, we will be discussing the safety study to see what portions we can implement. We'll look for low-hanging fruit, I suppose, and work on those and see how we can progress this further.
Yeah. Really great. Okay. I don't know if I had any others at the moment. Does anyone else? Are we seeing anything else online, Stephanie?
Nothing else in the chat except the credit link.
Well, that's important. Hope everybody can click on that link and get your certification credit for this fantastic presentation. Oh, I see another one.
There's a question. Yes. Can this study be adopted for urban areas?
Well, it is based on New York City's Vision Zero. So yes, I think that a lot of the policies and action items that are presented in this study could be applicable to urban areas as well.
That'd be great if we adapted it from Vision Zero and then it went back and helped cities with their Vision Zero efforts. So cool. All right. Any other, I guess, last questions before we thank everyone for joining us?
Nothing
Think
else
we're
in the
good.
chat.
All right. If that's the case, then I will let everybody go. Mary, thank you for a tremendous presentation. I'm sure I speak for everyone on the webinar today when I say we're eagerly awaiting the final release of that report with its brand new cover and everything else that's involved with it. It's going to be very exciting. And everyone, we look forward to seeing you at our next Brown Bag event next month. And thank you to the NYMTC team for putting this terrific presentation together. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon and have a great day. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.